What's up, guys?
Hey.
Thank you for
What's
being here.
up?
Let's go. So if I wiped your guys' accounts tomorrow to zero on all socials, you guys are starting over, and you have to make 100K on the internet in 1 year's time. What's the approach? What are you guys doing?
I would do a high ticket. I'd do a high ticket service where, like, done for you, probably writing because that was my skill, and I would do that. I was like, yeah, that's definitely what I would do. And then I would leverage that, the results I got for my done for you clients, and I would do one-on-one consulting or coaching for somebody, get good results for that, and then I would launch a done with you program that shows it one to many, and then you have leverage. So you're leveraging each stage.
And you would be how would you advertise that? Just everywhere?
Yeah, well, I would, alongside doing the work for the clients, I would post about what I was learning. I would post about results I was getting, case studies, and then that would start a flywheel where I'm growing my audience, also nurturing that audience, and then getting more clients.
How would you get the first?
Oh, I'd send hella DMs. So what I did at the start when I had my ghostwriting business, I had like 4,000, 5,000 followers. And what I did was I would reach out to people that I wanted to work with, and I would send a personalized compliment, like genuine. So I'd go through their content. So for example, there was a guy that I wanted to work with that did a podcast with Dan Coe. I listened to the podcast, so I skipped through parts. And I found a piece where it's like, oh, I resonate with that. He was talking about how he used to play video games. And then I messaged him, and I was like, hey, let's just listen to your podcast with Dan Coe. I really resonated with this part where you talked about video games. I used to be a chubby kid. Good old days. And then I would say, my name's Dakota Robertson. The reason I'm reaching out is because I'm a ghostwriter, and I recently did XYZ for myself or like some client, if you have results for somebody else. Would love to do the same for you. I actually, already cooked up some stuff. Are you interested? And then I would just repeat that with a bunch of people.
Laura?
I think like literally the same thing I did. I'll start building my personal brand online for 3 months, no questions asked, just growing my account from scratch. And then on LinkedIn, specifically on LinkedIn, LinkedIn is the place to be. And then I'd start adding a lot of CEOs, founders, B2B specifically, because they have money to pay. And then from my personal brand growth for the last 3 months, they'll probably see that there's some sort of like, growth, good content, I'm a good writer. Then through my building a personal brand, I practice writing. People can see I'm getting better. And then I'll probably end up getting my first inbound inquiry within the first 3 months just because people are seeing it. And if I have like LinkedIn, personal brand, growth person, whatever, they'll probably approach me and be like, do you do this for someone else? And then I'll be, yeah. And then I'll take them on for free, get a good testimonial for them, and then go ahead and use that testimonial to pitch for my next client and pitch them like around like $500, like something low. So I can get more testimonials and I can like have like that flywheel. And then eventually, like Dakota said, then use those testimonials to scale to a higher ticket offer. So then something like coaching or consulting, where I can do the agency on the side and the consulting and then have both and then increase prices as they go until I reach 100K.
So how would that be different than what you guys did when you guys started? I know, Laura, you made it sound like pretty much the same,
Yeah.
right?
That's exactly what I did. I
It
think,
wouldn't change a bit.
yeah, I think that's what the smartest people do. They just speak on experience and what worked for them.
Yep.
Obviously, there's different ways to make 100K, but that's what worked for us. So that's what
Stick
I
with it.
recommend. Yeah.
Yeah. It's really funny that like it seems so mystical to people when it's like this abstract thing when before they're actually in the world of writing and of putting out content on social media. But it's not that crazy to think of like within a year you could just make 100K on social media. It's like,
yeah, to me it was wild. I thought it was just like a distant dream that never happened to me. Like I had no intentions of even making money online to start. So when I made my first online dollar, it was like, what is this world? And it opened the gates to like me just trying new things that I wasn't, prepared for. Like school teaches us to work like all the time. in things that we don't want to work. So then when you discover that you can actually make money posting memes on the internet because you really like it, other people like it, and it's just like, oh my God.
Yeah. It's crazy to like, you have these beliefs in your head around what's possible, but like the reality is so much different than like what's actually out there. Like, because for me personally, especially in starting the podcast, it was like, no one's ever going to listen to this. Like, no guest I actually want to have on the show is going to want to come on. And then like with making money on the internet, like, I've been ghostwriting, wasn't even looking to ghostwrite, just was writing on the internet and then got inbound clients. Like your limiting beliefs that you have about these things just aren't the reality.
Yeah.
What was that for you guys when you were getting started? Did you even think that like this was a thing? Like it was possible? What was the goal when you first got started?
I didn't know what I was gonna. I remember I was an electrician, I was a security guard, I was a server, delivery driver, all these other things. I tried all these side hustles, and I stumbled upon a course on Twitter, because I was only on Twitter because of crypto. I stumbled upon a course. It was like, oh, grow your personal brand or grow your Twitter. And I'm like, oh, that looks interesting. It's $40. I was like, fuck it, I'll give it a go.
Shout out Life Math Money, whatever.
It wasn't a good course. I'm sorry. It was bad. But it was interesting because it introduced me to people like Dan Coe, Joey Justice, like all these people. And it kind of brainwashed me in a good way and just made me realize, oh, it's possible to make money online with a business. And yeah, it's just interesting because I didn't really have a crazy goal. I was like, I'm just gonna see where this goes, and then just more and more opportunities came up, and I fell in love with it. But it's crazy because I remember the first time I heard my friend, he made $50,000 in 1 month. It was actually Dan, and my jaw literally dropped. I couldn't even comprehend making that much in a month. I thought 10K a month was the upper limit, and it's crazy because then you hear someone making 100K a month and 500K in a month and then $1 million a month, and it's just shattering beliefs the whole time. And then you start hitting those numbers, and then you look back and you're like, oh yeah, it's actually like pretty simple. It's not easy, but it's simple, and you just realize, okay, what else can I do? And then just kind of breaks a lot of belief patterns that way.
No doubt about it. Yeah, the simple not easy part is fascinating because it is that simple, but that just doesn't mean that it's easy. You know, like it's a pretty straightforward path when you describe it.
And society trains us too to go to school, get a good job, get married, get a mortgage, get a house, all that stuff.
Go get your master's degree like Lara.
Yeah.
I hacked it, okay?
Stuck in the matrix. I want to talk about the one-person business model because it's like, you know, for a long time, you needed to have these big teams in order to scale massively. And nowadays, with like AI and just the nature of the internet, you're able to build these incredible businesses with like very little people. How are you guys thinking about scaling your brand, growing teams, like using the way of the internet to?
For me, it's a consistent struggle. I want to be a solopreneur, then I want to hire, then I hire, then I hate it, and I go back to being a solopreneur. Like with the agency, I started on my own until like we scaled to like 10K, 12K. And then I was like, hey, I need to hire. Like this is like unachievable. I was like uni, trying to scale, do uni, be a powerlifter, do all this. And I hated myself. Then hiring was so stressful.
Everyone sucks.
And then I realized that I had a conversation with one of my mentors that were like, why are you trying to scale? And I was like, because everybody's scaling. Like, all the cool people are doing it. So it's like, I need to scale. And they were like, you do realize that you can make the exact same amount of income without having to hire. And I was like, oh, yeah. Because every time I tried to hire, I realized that I'm in business not to work for anyone and also not to look after anyone else. So I don't want to hire. Maybe tomorrow I'll change my mind and think I want like 5 new sales reps to sell my courses and stuff. But today I don't want to hire, and I think that's the best way. I have Otter AI to record my conversations. I have ChatGPT and Perplexity and Bing AI, and I'm good.
Yeah,
It's so easy.
I want to get back to that AI stuff, but Dakota, what about you? How are you thinking about it?
So I was kind of the same route where I was solo, like by myself until I think 10, 15K. I had my VA, but
You don't have a VA.
yeah, she doesn't have a VA.
That's crazy.
I think so. For me,
Just girl bossing
solopreneur
it.
is someone that doesn't have employees, but you missed this fist bump. You're a dick.
Oh, sorry.
To me,
Thanks for picking me
solopreneur
up.
is someone that just doesn't have employees. I have contractors, like a good amount, but I see it as leverage. So if there's something I don't want to do or it's a repetitive task, you need to either not do that or find a way to delegate it. Because I just see it as like buying back your time. There's actually a good book by Dan Martell, Buy Back Your Time. Very good book. But it's like looking at, okay, what drains my energy? What takes up my time? And how can I outsource that? Like you make SOPs and then you train someone else to
What's an SOP?
standard operating procedure.
Okay, yeah.
Just
Dropping all those keywords.
Yeah.
He's
That's
cool.
very super niche.
He's so cool.
But yeah, I'm the same. Like I don't want to manage a sales team. I don't want to do all this. Like if I could hire someone to do that and like be not stressing about it, that'd be great. But yeah, it's funny because I had like 10 writers for me at one point with the agency, and then ChatGPT came out. I was like, oh, this is awesome. And I created a prompt that just pretty much replaced them all. And I had one lead writer.
Oh, that's too funny. Well, I definitely want to get back to the AI stuff because I think it's so interesting, especially in the context of what you guys are doing. But when it comes to like having employees, it's so hard to find people who are actually like good at it. I don't know if it's just that the skills are unique or if that most people kind of half-ass things. But yeah, creating that SOP to do things makes things so much easier because then they're able to just follow instructions instead of actually use their brain.
No, like even if you word by word give people an SOP, sometimes they just won't be able to do it as good as you would, and I think that's why I hate hiring because they'll do it at 60%, and that's what you're meant to be settling for.
I know.
And I'm like, I can do it myself. So
especially because it's your name behind it. It's not like it's like a company.
Hiring for a personal brand is 100% more difficult. Even I could hire someone to do my engagement online. Yep. But even then, like I'm like,
I know,
shaking all the time because it's like my tone of voice that I've like created, curated, whatever. And with let's say systems and ideation for YouTube videos, and if we try to delegate that, it'll be like it wouldn't be with the same intent. They wouldn't get it because they've obviously not been on the internet for like since you were like a nerd and I was also a nerd. So all our lives we've been on the internet. We can understand trends quite quickly. Yeah. Some people don't have it, and it's really hard to train for that as well because it's a really creative thing. Yeah,
there's no doubt about it, and it's like there's a reason why you guys have been able to grow the accounts you've been able to grow, and like if they were able to grow those accounts, they'd probably grow those accounts, so it's like it's hard 100%. To give people that leeway like that. But I'm curious, like what got you here won't get you there, because we talked about how you guys would scale to that 100K, but when it comes to like that next level, obviously there's different skills and there are different things that you should be doing to get to that point. I know you guys are both doing YouTube now. Is that part of that? And then what is the differences in getting to that over that first hump versus getting past that second hump?
Talk about YouTube. You love YouTube.
You love YouTube. There you go for it. So the only reason I started YouTube is to be him.
Oh yeah, that's the reason why.
I'm on my way. I'm on a 5K in like 3 months. He only hit 10K in like 6 months. So I'm better than him. I just want to make that clear. Yeah. What was the question?
We were just talking about the skill set and the things that you guys are doing now to get over the second hump.
So I think for me, I'm super grateful I didn't start with YouTube. I think that being a ghostwriter for so many different types of people has allowed me to become really good at script writing, or not really good, decent enough to create a good script that has a hook, that has like a lead, a script that like consistently entertains people and educates them. And I wouldn't have been able to do that from the get-go if I didn't spend hours and hours and hours writing content for myself, writing content for clients, and getting rejected by so many of them and having to rewrite things. And then now doing it for my cohort where I have to do SOPs for them on how to write something. So then that's prepared me a lot. But I don't think I'd be growing as quickly if I started from zero.
I was gonna join your cohort. You laughed at me. You were like,
I was like,
you're not even on LinkedIn. What are you talking about?
No, you don't need it.
Everyone needs LinkedIn. That's your whole thing.
Don't worry, you can join mine, bro.
Yeah, I'll join yours.
Mine is better.
But that skill of copywriting that you're just describing with the script writing, like I see it, Dakota, I even see it in your YouTube titles. Like a lot of those hooks and things that you learned from Twitter and from constantly writing, they now have just translated over into YouTube.
I brought so for my last YouTube video, I literally went to the store and I bought a fish. And the only reason I bought a fish was for the open loop at the start of the video, because I started it like right next to I had the fish right next to the camera. And what was the line? It was like, what if this fish was the key to landing high-paying clients online? By just using the video. But yeah, it's like it's totally useful learning copywriting and applying it to content.
Yeah,
because you just get an edge on everybody else.
No
Everyone's
doubt
like,
about
just write words. It's like, no, there's actually a sequence of words you want to write, and certain types of words sometimes, and follow a certain pattern of writing to build interest or catch attention.
Yeah. Would you say that that's probably the most important like meta skill in all of the internet making money?
Writing?
Yeah.
100%.
Yep.
Like, everything's writing, texting,
Yeah.
emails. Like how we communicate, we learn it from like books and stuff.
Yep.
So important.
And the persuasion stuff is all just a part of that.
Yeah.
So let's go back to the AI stuff, because you guys threw some prompts at me. You threw some Perplexity, some random other AI tools that I didn't even know were a thing. How have you guys been using AI?
So I was an AI hater like 2 years ago when I was like finishing uni, because firstly we can't use AI. We weren't allowed to use ChatGPT. So I just wanted to stay away from ChatGPT as much as I could, because the moment I started using it as a tool, I'd literally be using it to write my essay. So I wanted to stay out. And then one day I went on a trip to Bosnia with my friends Jasmine and Luke. And quick story, like a rock hit me in the head from like a 5-story high building. And then it hit me in the head, and I started bleeding, and it was crazy, and I had to go to the hospital. But then I couldn't do work, and I had client work to do like immediately the day off, and I didn't know what to do. I was like dead. So my friend Luke introduced me to this thing called Bing AI, where you can literally prompt it like, please write 10 similar hooks to Sahil Bloom, and you just put a Sahil Bloom tweet, and it'll literally give you 10 hooks that look like his specifically on any category you want. And that was the moment I was like, okay, AI is amazing. I love you. And then I started using it like crazy, and it helped me reduce time from 6 hours of writing to 30 minutes with very well written content. The thing is, like, I was already a good skilled writer.
Yeah.
So like both combined is
Absolutely.
such an insane skill. But I don't think you could just use AI to write content for clients without knowing how to write first. And then Bing AI, then Perplexity was a really good tool. And ChatGPT sometimes I just use it to finish sentences.
ChatGPT you use to finish sentences?
Yeah, so I'll be like, hey, can you please finish the sentence? Like,
Oh, okay.
when I don't know what's like,
Yeah.
when my brain power is dead, then I'll use it, and then it's amazing. And then the other tool I use is Otter AI.
Alter?
Yeah, to transcribe calls, which is a lifesaver, especially if you're doing client work. You could literally record your entire conversation with them, and you can ask it like, please give me like the 5 key points. It'll summarize it for you. You can just go from there. Like, it just makes life easier. I don't think I would have been able to grow the agency as quickly without that single tool, because it just summarized everything.
Yeah. It is. What about you, Dakota?
Oh yeah, I love AI.
Yeah.
When it first came out, I was kind of concerned. Oh shit, we might be screwed.
Yeah, because that's your whole business.
Yeah, but then I realized, it's going to replace a lot of creators. It's going to replace a lot of writers, but it's going to replace the average ones.
Yep.
Because I could give you the keys to a spaceship, the most advanced spaceship in the world, but if you don't have the knowledge on how to operate it, it's useless, right? So it's the same thing with ChatGPT. If you don't understand writing, you don't understand how to use it in overall social media strategy, you don't understand what makes for persuasive writing, all that stuff, then you're not going to piece the puzzles together.
Yeah.
Nor are you going to give it good inputs that's going to create the outputs you need. So once I just realized that, I was like, oh, I love this thing. This is great. So I use it every day. And the way I like to use it a lot, or the way I treat it, it doesn't write the content, but it's like a consultant for me.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm saying, this is my goal. This is my target audience. I get very specific on what I'm trying to do. As here's a piece of writing, what questions is my target audience asking themselves when they get to this point? Or I tell them, you are expert marketer, Alex Hormozy, using the frameworks from your book, $100 Million Offers. Give me feedback on this offer. Or I'll say, this is my target audience. Here's all their pain points, all like the market data.
Mm-hmm.
Construct me an offer based on XYZ. And it's amazing. Obviously, not all of it's like usable, but you just take what you want and just get feedback on the stuff you need, and Bob's your uncle. But yeah, it's great. I love it. It's amazing.
I don't use it like that. He uses it like every day. I can't do it.
Bob's your uncle.
What does that mean?
It just means Bob's your uncle. It's like that's that. That's it.
Never heard that expression before.
No.
I kind of like it.
You haven't heard it?
No. It's a
Is this
Canadian thing?
Damn.
Yeah.
Oh shit.
You're
Okay.
just so weird. Maybe you should just
I
leave
am
it.
weird. I don't know if you figured that out. I'm looking at AI meat. Sicko.
Oh, so you just need pretty much the summary is AI is great, especially when you already have like the sauce to write.
Yeah. Otherwise, it'll look like every other person's
Yeah.
link. Oh, the rocket emoji. I'm so excited to
Oh my
announce that
God.
I'm going to unleash the next LinkedIn tool that is
It's
going
so
to grow
easy
your
to see.
outcome. Rocket emoji. 5 steps. Star emoji. Unleash your team's productivity.
Yeah.
Yeah, I hate those emojis. The ChatGPT emojis are funny.
Yeah.
I always tell it to write an
Yeah.
article. I never say make a social media post.
Mm-hmm.
Because then
Yeah.
if you say social media, it'll make those emojis and hashtags. It's horrible.
I say write a tweet. It gets it better.
When you say write a tweet,
Yeah. 'Cause
Really?
If you say write a LinkedIn post, it'll make the most disgusting robotic sounding thing.
Yeah.
But if you do, can you please write a viral tweet on this, then it kind of get it.
interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting. It's interesting. I mean, I don't know how all that stuff's like evolving. I'm curious, like, what that next iteration's gonna look like.
So Bing AI gets it.
Explain.
If anyone from Microsoft is watching this, please sponsor me. But Bing AI, because it takes literally data from the website, so it gets exactly what it means. I don't know how, but it's just amazing. I love it. So if you put a tweet, I'm like, replicate the tweet. It does this seamlessly.
Mm-hmm.
No questions asked.
So is Bing AI the same as ChatGPT?
No. But Bing AI is in ChatGPT.
Bing AI is in ChatGPT.
Yeah, when you're loading on ChatGPT, it says like Bing loading. But then when I use Bing AI, it just does it better.
Mm. So what is Bing AI? It's like a website, or is it?
It's on Microsoft Edge, and then Bing. You know Bing.com.
Yeah.
It's that. So it's got like Microsoft Edge, and then Bing AI, and you just go in and just write like, hey, can you please write me 5 viral tweets in the tone of Justin Welsh? Please make this about productivity, and it'll be the most amazing thing.
Wow.
Yeah, near
That's interesting.
perfect posts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice. So what's your guys' goal with social media right now? Is it mainly focused on a particular platform or an outcome? Like, what is the thing you guys are trying to achieve right now?
I just want to be him.
That's the main goal.
Yeah.
Literally.
You got a target on your
That's
back.
it,
I
right
do.
now.
I don't know what I did, but
He pissed me off.
Yeah?
Yeah. He posted a video on like how to grow on LinkedIn. Sorry, you're from Twitter.
I grew my LinkedIn to 50K.
And then that video went crazy, like 45K
I
views.
just did it better than her. It's fine.
I hadn't even done it.
I still.
And then I
just
came
did
to
it
show
better.
him like he's boss and I'm boss. So.
Did you teach him LinkedIn?
He doesn't. One day he just randomly asked me like the stupidest question ever, like how do I upload a carousel on LinkedIn? He's got a LinkedIn personal branding course.
No,
He
it was
doesn't
because
know how to upload a carousel.
it was because
So,
I used to do it, and then I got my VA to do it, and
so-
then I
so you're
forgot
not-
how to do
So he
it.
doesn't even post his content on LinkedIn himself.
I don't. I get a VA to do it.
So he's not even there. He's
I
not
write
building
it
his
in
personal brand.
Airtable,
So he's
and then
got
she
other people doing his work for himself, whereas I do all of it myself.
That's
and it's
not a
just
flex.
Me. Yeah,
It just shows you're not efficient with your time. It's
no, because
okay.
I actually care about my community and I actually.
So
spend
you
time
have to
with
post
them.
it. Okay, yeah, no. That makes sense.
Sorry, how many newsletter subscribers do you have?
I have all of them.
Yeah, exactly. I have more newsletter subscribers.
That's literally it.
She's sassy.
So, on that topic, I guess of true fans, we'll talk about true fans. It seems like there's a lot of people who have these big audiences, but their audiences are not very engaged with their stuff. And then there's the people with much more niche type of followings that make so much more money just because their audience will buy anything that they put out. How do you guys think about creating those true fans? And then what things do you think makes a true fan?
I think storytelling. That's probably the biggest one. Because people want to relate to others, especially on social media. Like, you think about Andrew Tate, maybe he's not the most relatable, but they aspire to be like him. Because the stories he's telling, the narrative, he uses all the stories to tell a certain narrative. And I look at a lot of the biggest brands, and they're all doing that. Like, what's the difference between Nike and their $60 white t-shirt and Walmart's $10 white t-shirt? Why can Nike charge a premium? Well, it's because they have a whole story. Like, people want to identify with the ideals of Nike, and they want to associate with that. So, yeah, I think storytelling, narratives, if you can have an us versus them narrative, I think that's powerful, something to rally against.
Do you think you have that?
I don't really
Diet Coke disrespecters?
Yeah, like, I got kind of like some memes, like pineapple pizza, Diet Coke. I talk about school as well. Like, I'm not a big fan of college, unless you're going to be a doctor or a lawyer. I think it's a waste of money. I'm vocal about that, but nothing like too hardcore. I keep a lot of opinions to myself sometimes, but yeah.
Lara?
I think the same storytelling, but also for me, it was mostly networking. I built my entire brand from zero just through making a lot of connections. I love networking, and that's like one of my unfair advantages. So I spent about 3 months on LinkedIn trying to network with every single person I found, like what I didn't care, and just talk to people like for 10 minutes, like on a coffee chat, trying to get to know them. And the more I spoke to people, the more I learned things, like random thing here, random here, there, like this is going to help you grow here. This is going to scale your business to X. Like, if you want to learn how to make your first 5K here, then the more connections I made, the more things I had to write about and then create something new. Because the problem with new people on social media is that they're so adamant on trying to find the viral formula and follow it. They try to be the next Gary Vee, the next Andrew Tate, the next Stephen Bartlett, and the next Dakota, for example. And it doesn't work because they don't have that connection built. So when it comes to like building fans, for me, it was the networking aspect and trying to just be nice to people. It pays off.
That network effect it's everything. I mean, I think about, so I just launched this lab work company selling blood tests. And I don't have a big following at all, but because I've done so many podcasts with a ton of people in the health community, they all promoted it, and it had like this massively successful launch. Like, not because of the content I put out, just because of the network of people that I had developed. Like, it's such a great way to form leverage. And I was laughing before when you were talking about people trying to be like the next Andrew Tate, the next Stephen Bartlett, whatever. Because you see on Twitter, like, every single person copying.
Yeah.
What? Yeah.
They do like, this is like the 5 tools that Stephen Bartlett used to be.
Yeah. Or they have Dan Coe's profile picture. It's interesting. I mean, what what advice would you guys have for that person that's just getting started and their only threads so far are how to write like Dakota Robertson? These are the 6 tools that Dakota Robertson used to build his personal brand.
To be fair, I think that is... So there's 2 elements when you're a beginner. You have to borrow some credibility, authority.
No doubt.
So that's when they come in, like those type of threads and posts and stuff.
Yeah.
But then you have to back it up with who are you. So if you have one of those posts go viral, then immediately you have to back it up with a photo of you, like a story, telling people who you are, where you're coming from. So they kind of have to like kind of link the viral post with you. And then you can kind of like exploit that. So if you wrote a post about how to write like Dakota Robertson or like Lara Acosta, then you do a post the next day on how to write, like how copywriting tip, where it sets you apart from everyone else that's doing the exact same thing. And then you do a story. And then on the back of that, you do a lot of engaging. So people remember you next time they come back or they see your post because they're like, okay, I really like that post. It went viral. I commented, he replied, we DM'd, we connected, on to the next. I'm going to remember them. It's like reciprocity bias. The more you give, the more you get. So you start building off as that. A lot of people just miss the networking bit. They think, okay, I'm going to put that person on this post. It's going to go crazy. And then they just post and ghost and they leave it. They don't know what else to do. And that is the usual problem with people. They don't know what the next move is and they're not prepared for that viral moment. They don't have like an offer ready either or anything. Some people, when they go viral for the first time, I've seen it so many times, they kind of like disappear for like a month because they don't know what to do. It's a lot. So just be prepared and network a lot, I think.
Yeah.
I left it speechless.
What was the question again?
So good.
We were talking about the advice for the beginner who's trying to be Dakota Robertson.
Yeah, you gotta go out and do interesting stuff. That's the biggest thing. Like I tell everybody at the start of my cohort and throughout it, like almost every day, is like you need to pick an actionable skill that helps people help solve their pain points and get to a desired outcome, and go out and do stuff and learn, and then document what you're learning. Because the problem most people have is they're just rewording books that they read and rewording tweets from Dan Coe or whoever else, and you don't stand out that way. The way you stand out is actually going out doing interesting stuff and documenting it and saying, "Here's how I did X, Y, Z."
Yep.
So,
Lara, I remember. So I think your first time you went viral on Twitter, or the biggest time you went viral on Twitter. Do you remember this? So it's your pinned post right now.
Okay, I thought you were going to talk about my mushroom story.
No, but I want to talk about that. I didn't even know about that. So the one that's your pinned post right now has like over 1 million views.
It's insane.
Do you remember when that happened?
Yeah, it was during the summer. I was just like...
Do you remember though that we did a Twitter space during it?
You were at the bottom. I promoted it at the bottom, right?
It was at the bottom of it, and it was also our Twitter space was live going on while it was happening.
Yeah.
And I think we ended up getting like almost 40,000 viewers total because everyone while it was going viral, kept going. And I gained like 1,500 followers from your viral post. Yeah.
How many did he get you?
Probably a good amount too, actually. But not that many. But what's up with this mushroom story?
No. Let's talk about it. LinkedIn.
Okay. So what do you guys think about? Yeah. What do you guys think about using, like Twitter Spaces and just like the world of spoken word and audio in terms of creating brands and almost like truer brands because they've heard so much of your voice?
I love it.
Yeah.
I think people, when they can hear the tonality and the nuance on stuff and actually hear the person, I think it connects.
And your messed up mind.
Yes. Like you can obviously tell I'm a lot more weird on camera or on audio because I have more characters to not like I'm talking about like word characters, like numbers of words I can articulate stuff for.
Yep.
But yeah, I think it's very powerful.
Yeah.
As a tweet, you only have 280 characters. On here, it's unlimited. So
yeah.
That's a tweet.
Yeah, that is a tweet. That's a good one. So what do you guys think is is next in the world? So we mentioned kind of the things you guys are. I don't even know if we ended up. I think we got on a side tangent when it came to getting over the second hump and getting to the uh,
Next
bigger, more audacious next level type of things. I think we kind of got distracted by talking about copywriting. Was what avenues are you guys doing to get to that level again?
So when I first bumped onto my first one after I left university, and I kind of like focused.
When was that?
I finished uni in December, so like January, February stuff.
How's it feel now since you've been full time with it? Have you noticed a difference?
I definitely had to make a mindset shift in my head, because I didn't have the excuse that I was a student anymore. And as soon as I finished uni, I was like, I don't have this excuse anymore. I can't be like, oh, I'm a student, I'm doing this. And before I had it, which was it was a really nice comfort blanket. And then for the next 3 months, I completely just narrowed down, focused on one thing, and that was creating a new offer, which was my cohort and launching. And I didn't even realize that launching was such a big thing. But on Twitter, it's like, oh, you're having a launch, like blah blah, and it's like I had so much imposter syndrome that it had to be the best people had seen. And then I focused on that. I launched it. It did well enough for me to be happy about it. But then after, I felt the worst I've ever felt in my entire life, because I went through such a high, and then the what's next happened. Like, oh, now what?
Like gold medal depression.
And then I fell. It was awful, and I didn't know what to do. And I was like, I felt really anxious, stressed, and I was like, I did what I wanted to do, but now what? Like, my goals were done. So then to get to the next level and get myself back up, like, I invested on a mentor to like help me kind of like reframe my mindset. And I'm focusing a lot on that, and I signed up to a marathon because I was clearly having a midlife crisis. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean that gold medal depression is a real thing when you're striving towards goals, and especially when you achieve them rather quickly. It's like, what the hell do I do with myself?
I never felt like that. It felt like I was being really selfish.
Interesting.
But also, I didn't know what to do. And then I started surrounding myself with better people that had the life that I wanted. Started talking to people like Sam that owns a studio and stuff like more. And sort of was having those higher level conversations instead of just being in like my little small town mindset, which helped me so much. So that's essentially what's helping me.
Yeah. Dakota, that seems like something you kind of can relate to as well, right? With living with Danco and then putting yourself, connecting with a lot of people who are doing what you want to be doing.
Yeah.
It seems like that was a big thing for you as well.
100%. Yeah, that's a life hack for getting ahead, is surrounding yourself around other ambitious people.
Yeah.
Because if like I remember when I was trying to start my online business and starting to create content on Twitter, I was like the black sheep of my friends and family, and no one really knew what the hell I was doing. They couldn't relate, and it's hard enough to cultivate self-belief in yourself. But when you got friends or family, like, what are you doing? Like, shouldn't you go to college, or you could go the traditional path, and it can really mess with you. So I find finding other crazy people who relate with you and have ambitious goals is one of the best ways to get ahead, because you got that high energy. You're surrounding yourself around people that understand you. You push each other, and it's good vibes.
No doubt. I mean, I say this all the time, but like, uncommon people are uncommon to find. And when you are trying to do like these uncommon type of things, actually finding those people is so useful, because going back to your self-belief thing you were saying before, you're never going to outperform that like idea of what you think is possible. So you need to have those other people around you who are kind of shattering those beliefs. Yeah.
That's why I love Twitter too. Well, social media in general, is because it concentrates those types of people. Because if you're creating content about whatever, you're going to attract those types of people.
And that's immediately like a 1% person to be
But also, I think you have to become someone that can attract those types of people.
No doubt.
You consistently need to be improving yourself, watching new podcasts, reading new books, doing cool stuff, posting about it. Otherwise, you won't be worth those people's time.
Yeah.
And that's something that I learned when I got like my first mentor. He gave me some advice, and the first thing I did was implement it immediately. And that's what I do with every single person I meet. When they give me information, I instant action, because then they know that you're worth their time. Otherwise, people feel like they're wasting it. So also that.
Yeah.
Surrounding yourself with the right people and then being that.
Yeah. I mean, there's so many people who just consume advice, podcasts, books, self-help books. Like, it's all just self-help junkies. You kind of all go through it. I mean, it's part of the journey, but yeah, the implementation is like such an important skill. I remember you said this on our first podcast about reading books for a specific purpose versus just reading to read, or reading like self-help books to read.
Yeah, now I'm like, I read and then I kind of just like skim through whatever I need, because I didn't know you could do that. I thought you had to go from like top to bottom, but no, you can just like skim the book, find what you need, and then go from there. Otherwise, it's literally a waste of time, because all books could be condensed in like 2 pages.
Yeah, there's so many books that just the cover itself gives you all you need to know.
Yeah, that's actually true.
Yeah. So what type of, when it comes to, I mean, I know influence was a big one for you. You mentioned another one before that I can't remember now, about books.
Writing tools?
Oh, writing tools, yeah.
Is that what you said? The book you said?
Maybe.
I don't know.
I've said a lot of books.
I think it was talking about SOP.
Buy back your time. Yeah.
Buy back your time. That was the one.
Yeah.
Any important ones that you think people should be aware of, or
I think
about?
influence is a must read. That book is essential for anyone that wants to learn marketing. I remember when I read it, it just using psychology rather than just through the lens of normal marketing, and actually verbalizing how marketing actually works in people's heads, rather than just the actions and the systems behind marketing, and just how people actually behave and what decisions lead to something actually happening, makes your life a lot easier, because you don't have to be thinking about the systematic aspect of marketing, which it's what I was taught at university. Then I was like, oh yeah, obviously I think like that. So then that response, that thing is going to cause that response. And then if I do it consistently, I'm going to start building leverage.
Yep.
So I love that book so much.
So on that topic though, so have you tried doing kind of what Dakota does with her Mosey's with $100 million offers, where you have a ChatGPT that knows Robert Cialdini, is that how you pronounce it? Cialdini. That is trained on influence, and then you could say like, make this tweet, make this thing like more influential. Have you messed around with that at all?
No, I haven't. I should really. I don't really use ChatGPT like he does. Yeah. I'm just like, do this, and then I go.
Better know with ChatGPT.
Yep. What's some stuff you guys don't really get asked on podcasts, or some stuff that you guys think is essential or interesting that kind of just goes by the wayside when we have these type of conversations?
What's your social security number? Your mother's maiden name.
What's happening here?
It's kind of weird.
We love it though. Makes for a good conversation.
Gotta be weird to win.
That's the truth right there. Weird people get weird results. Normal people get normal results. And those weird results could be great. And it could be bad. But they're going to be weird.
Autistic people get the best results. So that's the key.
That's the key right there.
Question.
It's a hard one.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean...
let's ask ChatGPT.
No, that's the truth, though. I mean, it's interesting. It's like... the AI stuff is going in a very, I mean, it just makes your guys' jobs so much easier. You said you went from 6 hours of writing to 30 minutes of writing.
Yeah.
And how much do you guys work per day, would you say? Like hours wise?
It depends. Like, I think I'm living my life more like in seasons now, where it's sprint seasons where I'm like literally working 12 hours a day.
And that would be like when you're launching a cohort, when you're creating an offer or something like that.
And then like soft season, like marathon, when I'm just like trying to just keep up, take my time, learn things and stuff. And seasons can depend. Like, it doesn't have to be like 6 months. It can be like a week, or like I'm a different season. So I kind of work most likely 8 to 10 hours usually.
A day?
Yeah. Sometimes 4. It depends. Sometimes I really have to just get a lot of things done, and I'll work for 12 hours straight. And then the next day I'll do 2 hours or something. But then the problem that I found when you're building your personal brand and is your business that you love it so much that you can't stop working.
Yeah.
So it becomes really addictive. And then
So addictive.
You're tired, but you're physically tired, but your head is alive. Like when I was launching my last cohort, I was exhausted. I wasn't sleeping. I was mixing Red Bull and water with some water sweetener in a liter like bottle because I couldn't stop because I was having so much fun.
Yeah.
Like I literally full sent it and I was still kind of like recovering because I'm kind of burnt out because I wasn't sleeping.
Yeah,
But I
of
had
course.
so much fun. So work is literally play.
Yeah, that's no doubt about it. I mean, it's incredible because there's such few people who actually get to experience that feeling of work being play. Yeah. So what about you? How often are you working nowadays?
Same as her.
Yeah.
Same
Just
as her.
varying.
Yeah, like I work a lot. Like, that's my fun thing I do.
Yeah.
I get to work on. It's not a lot of it's not fun, but a lot of it is.
Yeah.
But I'm looking at the parts where I don't like doing, and I'm either reducing it or eliminating it, delegating it. Just doing that a lot more lately, and not focusing so much on scaling income, but scaling the enjoyment of it, and just cutting back on a lot of stuff, and then restructuring, and then I'm gonna build it back where it's like, okay, I'm doing things I enjoy and not stuff I don't.
So when it comes to the addictive nature of it in like a good way, is it it creates a pretty interesting feedback loop on Twitter, LinkedIn, whichever social media platform it is, where you take some time, you write on something, and then you get this feedback from the real world that oftentimes is pretty addicting, and like the algorithms are designed that way. Whereas like the average person, those triggers are negative because they're just posting nonsense. But when you're actually posting valuable things that are making you money, those addictive elements within the app create like a positive loop? Or do you think it is really just the intrinsic nature of the work itself and of writing that is positive, or somewhere in the middle?
I think it's both. When you realize you're good at something, you're gonna want to do
Yeah.
it more. Like that's the addictive nature of things. Like if you're good at something, you'll do it so many times because you're obviously so good and you enjoy doing
No
it.
doubt.
And then the positive feedback when you go viral consistently, that it gets addictive as well, obviously, because dopamine. But for me, I think that being that person that I used to watch now, like I used to watch YouTube videos before about how to make clients and how to do things, and now being able to be that for someone else, it's like the most amazing feeling I could ever feel. Same with LinkedIn, same with like getting girls that look like me that don't have a job, and they're like, I look like you and I want to be like you inspire me. That is what kind of like drives me to do the things, because I was once them.
Yeah.
Just like, thank you. It's like closing the loop on something.
Yeah. It's
Yeah.
beautiful. What about you?
I came here to get paid and sell a course for $997, normally priced at $10K, but yours today for $997.
It's a special offer for the audience today.
Yes. No, I'm just kidding. Yeah, same.
Yeah.
No, but it's
You have
cool.
to get
No,
your
it's
own
true.
answers.
You shut up. No, it's true. Like, it's cool because I was going to be a high school English teacher and psychology teacher.
Pretty crazy.
But now I get to do that for free. Well, not free, but I get to do that online.
Yeah.
It's really cool. But it's cool too because I can also indoctrinate people into my ways of thinking or what's worked for me, and sharing my stories, and then help the former version of myself. Because again, like her, I was looking up on YouTube how to do XYZ. I was looking at Chris Doe's stuff, all these like big names, and trying to figure this out. And then I get to do that because I put in the work and I did all the uncomfortable stuff, and I gained the experience, and then I simplify it for people. Because one of the biggest things for me when I was starting, I was like, people just giving fluff, and I don't know, like, how do I do this? Like, what? And that's what I like to do with my content, is showing this is what you do. Next step, next step, next step. And I try to do it in a funny way that's entertaining, because I'm a bit weirder, and people hate that. Some people like it.
Yep.
So I'm just trying to attract the people I want to attract, and do it in a fun way.
Yeah.
You want to be corporate like her, you can be like that, and that's going to attract a certain type of person. or you can be fun like me and attract the fun people.
I'm actually quite fun.
No.
Yes, I am.
Okay, yeah, whatever you say.
He uses high school humor. I'll leave 20 seconds.
Yeah.
It's funny though. I mean, I actually was thinking about this morning, on how there's probably so many high school history teachers right now that are like incredible storytellers when it comes to like history. And if they just had a podcast or a YouTube channel or something, some avenue within the internet, they'd be able to be making like 100x their salary, 10x their salary. Dan Carlton's a perfect example. Yeah.
His hardcore history is so entertaining. I was actually thinking last week, like I want to buy his one on World War II. His storytelling's amazing.
Yeah.
It's unreal. He probably rakes it in.
Yeah, no doubt about it. Yeah. His offer is pretty unique too, right? It's like behind a paywall for his podcast.
Yeah. He has different sets on different eras, and then you pay. I don't know what the price was. But
Yeah, it's interesting. I mean, so what do you think it's funny, I'm surprised you guys said in the beginning of this conversation, the path that you would take to make that first 100K would be the same path that you guys took, that you guys actually took. What type of things would be different in how you gone about than how, in like either in what you did than what you would do now? Because obviously there's some things in that journey that you should have done that you wish you did that you didn't do.
I would have hired a coach sooner.
Yeah.
I think that's probably why we recommend the paths that we did, because we paid coaches at a certain point and they just told us do this. So it's just a cheat code instead of us just bouncing around doing everything.
So you guys got coaches.
Yeah. I think that's like our biggest expense.
Yeah.
Both of us.
Now and
Always.
but then always.
I've always been coached by someone, like powerlifting coach, nutrition coach. I am dependent on them because I just know that they can shortcut your success quite quickly. But I don't think I would do anything differently. I think people get too confused on the how and they forget about their why. If you don't have a vision of like, why do you want to build a personal brand, or why do you want to build an agency, you'll get stuck into win the other things, like how to scale, how to hire, how to do things rather than doing things out of your passion. And I think for me specifically, I just did things so much because I just wanted to have fun on the internet.
No doubt.
Then everything makes so much sense. Like the engagement, the posting, consistently writing for other people so I could get better, making some money on the side so I could get social proof. It all felt like a game. So the moment you learn how to gamify your experience, you're like, sweet. Because then nothing else really matters because you're having the time of your life.
No doubt.
And then I also don't have a social life. So social media is my life. And I just spend all my day there. It's fun.
Yeah, she spends like 4 hours a day commenting.
Yeah.
You spend 4 hours a day commenting?
I love my community.
That's a mental illness.
Other people.
That's crazy.
I mean, Laura, but you do have an incredibly engaged audience, and I'm sure that.
Then everybody's like, how did you do it? And I'm like, well, here's how I did it. And they're like, oh, no, I'm not going to do it. Well, sorry. But here's the thing. And I feel like I owe my audience something when they help me get to where I am.
Yeah.
So like the least I can do is spend 4 hours of my day or like 2 hours or whatever it is I can do on that day talking to them. Yeah. Because they're like my family, like they're my friends.
Yep.
Like they saw me, like some people have been following me from 0 to like 100K. And it just means a lot to me. Like community is something I lacked when I was like younger. I was bullied at school. I'm an only child. And I just never really managed to make the friendships that I wanted because I, like him, I was the black sheep of my family, of like school. I was just like the weird kid doing random things, playing video games and watching like anime. I was weird and no one got it. And then the moment I realized that I could make my own friendship group or community online, everything just magically changed. So I'm just like, I love you. Like at the end of my calls, I sometimes just lift up. It's at the end of my calls, I'm like, bye, love you guys. And they're like, oh, she said love you. I'm like, yeah, love you guys.
Yeah. I'm fascinated by the coaching thing. So I wasn't aware that you guys have both invested very, very much into coaching. That's not something I've done before. I'm not really too familiar with that whole world. What have you guys gotten out of that? And what type of person do you think is right for coaching? Or you think everyone's kind of right for coaching, because you think about like our whole world of in school, you have your teachers, which are coaches. And when you think about like a LeBron James, like the best athlete in the world, even he has personal trainers, coaches, helping him get better. So what's your guys' 2 cents when it comes to the world of coaching?
I don't think everyone's coachable
Mm.
because you have to have an open mindset to be coached. Otherwise, you're gonna just leave it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I agree. Some people are potatoes.
Yeah.
They're just like, I'll pay you $5,000, but I'm gonna not implement any of the advice. It's
Or like they'll just be like, this doesn't work for me. Like your system is not working. Like, and they don't even try it because they just don't have an open mind. So you have to be a specific type of person.
Mm-hmm. You have to be an open-minded person and
Yeah.
willing to implement.
100%.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I'll get people to join my cohort, and then I'll never see them. I'm like, they'll come to at the end. I'm like, who is this? Like, I've literally had that many times. It's like, who is this person? It was funny because I joined a YouTube cohort, and I just got really busy.
Yeah.
I went to one call, and that was it. So I was like,
You get a.
Dakota's one of those guys.
yeah, I'm that guy.
He's the problem.
He is the
I'm the
problem.
solution.
Oh man, that is too funny. So, so you guys think that if you are a coachable individual, like hiring that coach or is something for no matter what the pursuit is, makes sense?
I think sometimes it's two things. So it's because you're looking for information or you're looking for accountability. When you're paying for a coach, you're investing in your future. So you're like literally telling yourself, okay, I'm putting this amount up front. I need to actually execute on what they tell me. So that's why sometimes what I've realized now is why masterminds are so expensive. It's not that the information is high level itself, but it's also the information, the people around you that make you think to a higher level. Like if you're doing 100K a month, people in those masterminds will be doing $1 million a month, and you'll feel like the small fish, and you'll start thinking differently. And also, what do you call it? Tactical anxiety. When you're like invest like 20K, 30K on a mastermind, whatever the price is, you're like, I have to do this thing. I have to execute. So I feel like coaching is education and an investment in your future self.
The price tag of that attached to things is almost equivalent to the amount of results you're going to get out of something. Yeah. Right. So if you were to do like a course and you were to charge $1,000 for the course versus the same course that came for free, you would get exponentially more or better results from the $1,000 course, because you're actually like, oh shit, like I need to be applying these things.
Yeah.
100%. That's something I'm learning more and more, because you hear Alex Hormozy say, give away everything for free, give away, all the secrets, all of that stuff. But if you give it all away, then people are like, oh, I got everything I need. And like, it's just that simple. I just got to execute. But then they totally disregard the mental aspect, the accountability, showing up, being consistent, overcoming limiting beliefs. That's where a coach comes in handy, or a consultant, whatever. But yeah, if you just like give everything for free, you don't like touch on pain points to make them want to join your program, I feel like you're doing them a disservice. Yeah. As long as you have a good coaching program or whatever. But yeah, it's powerful.
I'm a big fan of giving things away for free, though.
Yeah.
So are you. Like
you guys both give a ton.
We give the entire
content.
source away for free because we learned everything for free as well.
Yeah.
So it's like makes sense. But then, if you're a person that's gonna apply everything you tell them to do for free, is never gonna buy from you because they're like go get us. They'll go and do it, and maybe in the future they'll actually buy from you. And then the people that watch it be like, oh, that's easy, simple, everybody can do it. They'll try it for 2 days and it won't work. Oh, I didn't get clients, or a scam. Never mind. Even though the content was free.
What have you guys gotten out of coaching? Is it just that? Is it the accountability, the implementation, or is it having the almost like what a therapist does, where they give you you're able to kind of vent, and then they're able to give you the solution back to you. I don't know about if that's actually what therapists do, but is it something like that? What?
Yeah, like the accountability, the network. Also, just thinking, like elevating your standards. So like you're investing in yourself, you're telling yourself subconsciously or consciously that you're someone worth investing money into.
Mm-hmm.
And then, yeah, I don't know, just overall, you're just improving your experience, your skill set. And yeah, like you said, you're going to have all these limiting beliefs. And when you can just vent to somebody, it helps a lot. But one thing I had when I started out was when I hired my first coach, it was suddenly, okay, I don't got to figure this out all on my own. I'm just going to follow what this person says because he's done what I want to do.
Yeah.
So the big thing a lot of beginners have is their shiny object syndrome. They're going from thing to thing, and they're just overwhelmed with all this information. But when you hire a coach that's where you want to be, they're just like, step 1 to step 10, do all of this. And you're like, oh, okay, got it. And then you just focus. That's the biggest thing, I think, is just knowing what to focus on, because so many people want to be, oh, what about drop shipping? What about crypto, XYZ? And then they don't see any results in any of it because they're just scattered. You need to focus.
Lara, anything to add?
My mentor, like my first ever mentor, his name is Richard Moore, and he helped me so much with my offerings. And that was like my only questions would be like how to send a pitch, how to script it, and how to do it. And he'll repeat it to me on and on and on and on again. Like it's repetition, because even if you learn something, you need to then go and apply it. And then he was following up, how did it go with like these 10 leads? How did it go with this person? What was your tonality with sales? Because that's my main issue, sales. So then he would help me like consistently work on those little things that I could have read on a book 100%.
Two different worlds, though.
But it's like he himself was there telling me things that he's learned, like little tricks, like little things that he's picked up over the last 20 years in his experience. So like that to me is worth any single investment I could make. And it's the same with every single coach.
What type of coaches have you guys invested?
Yeah, the productivity, marketing, sales, fitness, all over the place.
Any one in particular that you think had a sizable impact?
Danco, that was my first one. Leon Castillo, he's great.
Castillo.
He lives in Madrid, right?
Yeah.
I've spoken with him before. What type of coach is he again?
Productivity.
He's a productivity coach.
Like high performance.
High performance, yeah.
He's good. He's
Interesting.
Taylor Welch, that was the last one I joined. He's great. And Nicholas Verge, amazing. Highly recommend.
For what particularly?
Marketing.
Yeah.
Marketing. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, he's a really good marketer.
Yeah.
Very smart.
Very smart guy.
Very autistic too.
Oh yeah. No doubt about it.
For me, it was Richard Moore. He is my mentor, still is, will always be. He just kind of gave me insight to a new perspective of thinking. He thinks big. I'll be like, oh my God, I make my first 10K. And he'll be like, win 20K, win 30K, win 100K. And it'll never stop. And it's so, for me, it's like so interesting how he thinks and like just this next level thinking and how he just runs things so smoothly. And with such class, I just appreciate and admire it. And having a mentor that you can admire and look up to is everything, because you wanna do the right thing so you can impress them consistently, and then they teach you how to do it better as well. So it's like an amazing relationship. I love it.
No doubt about it. And what advice would you have for finding the right coach?
There's two ways. You can either pay your way in and buy a mastermind where you can just put money in, or if you want to find a mentor, just be someone worth mentoring. Like mentors will find you if you're putting out the right information, you're like talking about the right things, and you're consistent with yourself. People want to mentor, people want clients, people want social media growth, but they aren't consistent with themselves, which is the main problem. It's not everything else. It's like you said, it's simple. It's not easy.
Yeah.
Same with mentors. Like you need to show up for yourself first and be that person before you actually are that person, so you can attract those type of people.
How do you guys find your mentors? It sounds like for you, it's like social media.
Yeah, network. At the start it was Dan Co, and then I just got familiar with the people in the space and just heard like reputation, all that stuff. I've gotten burned twice. It's funny because they were the most expensive ones I hired. One was $18K, the other one was $25K. Just the one guy was completely just incompetent. It was actually astonishing. And the other guy, it was just immoral because he ripped off a friend of mine, like his coaching program, and I found that out after. And I was like, oh, okay, I'm just gonna drop out. But yeah, it's like you really want to take the time to vet who you're gonna get as a consultant or coach, because unfortunately, there's a lot of frauds out there, or people that are they just don't know what they're doing, or the scammers, whatever. So you really need to take the time to vet the person and, okay, what are their case studies? You know, what's their content like? You know, how do I think they are as a person? Like, what's their character? You can get a sense of that by researching who they are online and watching their content. But yeah, it's crazy. Like, there's a lot of, like, the one that ripped off the other guy's program, he's actually like, his marketing, he's like, oh, I'm Christian. Like he pushes that hard in his marketing angle. He does that to attract, reach more people like that. So there's a lot of BS out there. So you gotta be very cognizant of who you're hiring.
Like me, I once bought coaching by this guy called Dakota Robertson. He literally ripped me off. Like, he told me to go
I heard awful
hard,
things.
to steal everyone else's content.
I'm a scam.
Awful.
Yeah, heard awful things as well. How'd you find your mentor?
He found me.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, it's a lovely story. I'd gone viral on LinkedIn for the first time. Like, my first post went viral for 1,000 likes in 42 hours. And then I, like, over that month, it was crazy. Like, it was like busting.
Yeah.
I'm the next big thing. and then I see this guy that I'd seen on my feed. You know when you have like a little crush on like someone, like brain crush, like they're cool.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh my God, it's him that I've been like following his sales advice. And I see he sent me a connection request. And I was like, what? Because I had like 2K at the time. I was no one.
Yeah.
I was absolutely no one. I was like, he looked at me.
Yeah.
He paid attention. I was like, oh my God, I love your profile picture. He's like, haha, thank you. And then I shot my shot. I had nothing. I had nothing to show for myself. No business, nothing. Just vibes. And I was like, could I please hop on a coffee chat with you for 15 minutes? And he was like, okay, yeah, we can arrange that. He was like,
nice.
Okay, you know, setting the frame. He's the cool one. I'm like the inspiring. And I was like, okay, oh my God. And then after a bit back and forth, I woke up at 6 a.m. in the morning in Mexico for us to have a call at 12 p.m. this time. And he really liked the vibes, I think. I had a bunch of books in my wall at the time. I think I impressed him with my reading knowledge. And then just with, I guess, my willingness to wake up then and take action on his advice. I think it meant something to him, and he's been mentoring me ever since.
Nice. Very nice story.
I have nice
Very wholesome. Very wholesome.
stories. You don't.
No, I got the most effed up stories. That's what I got.
So we're in London right now.
Yes.
Lara's home country. Kinda.
Sort of.
So it's for a while now.
Pretend
Home
British.
country. How long you lived here for?
I just moved to London this year, but
What?
been in the UK for 11 years.
Oh, wow. Nice.
Yes.
Where in the UK were you?
All around, like south, north, east, west.
What's our thoughts on the UK so far? Both of you guys?
I think it's cool.
Yeah?
Yeah, I like it. I like the architecture.
Yeah.
Good vibes.
Just the architecture.
That's pretty much it. That's all I look at is architecture.
It's true. It's like it's pretty similar to like New York City, but just pretty.
Yeah.
But just pretty.
Like, it's iconic, I would say.
London?
Majestic.
Yeah. Good vibes. Outside of the weather, it's very nice.
If
here.
the weather London during the summer is something else.
Yeah,
It's
true.
insane. Everything is great.
That's true. Anything we haven't talked about today, guys, that you want to talk about? Anything that's on your guys' mind as of recent?
Do you?
No.
No.
No?
Lovely weather. It's amazing.
Awesome, guys. Well, thank you for doing this. This is a ton of fun. I hope we didn't talk too similarly to your other podcasts you guys have done in the past.
I've never done a podcast with someone, like him.
So famous.
So famous.
So good at YouTube.
So good at LinkedIn.
So amazing.
It's a new
Number
experience.
one LinkedIn viral video on how to grow. That's me.
Is that true?
Yeah.
Okay, we got the top LinkedIn video.
there's
So that's
other-
what started this beef.
No, there's all the LinkedIn people hate me.
Oh, I'm
Because I just came in, did it better than them, and they're like,
You're not doing it better than
Yes,
anyone.
I am.
No, you're not.
Yeah, yeah.
You're literally
Don't
not.
lie. Don't lie.
Who are you? Like, if I was to put my hand on your post, I wouldn't be able to know who
Yes,
this
you
is.
could.
Yeah, I
You
know,
totally
I know.
could.
No, I
You
couldn't.
could tell by the pineapple pizza and Coke Zero references. So I want to hear it.
And the
So
nicotine spread.
aspirational.
Yeah, nicotine spray. That's
Yeah, that's the
holy
trio.
trinity.
Oh, that's too funny. Okay, so we'll end. Quick question before we end. So I have yet to write a post on LinkedIn ever, to the demise of Lara. I haven't really been fully committed to growing on Twitter or growing in general. And if I were to take the next step into fully committing onto social, on LinkedIn and for Twitter, Dakota for Twitter, Lara for LinkedIn, what advice you guys have for me?
Why do you want to grow?
For the business and for the podcast.
What is your main message
With
with the podcast?
with the
Personal
podcast.
brand.
See, I don't
have to
really
align.
see. This is the issue. This is the issue I've had. Is I started the podcast out of just an enjoyment for conversations and out of curiosity, and I don't really have like a grand goal or thing I'm trying to accomplish or like try to make money off of. It's been solely for the enjoyment of the conversations. So I feel like because of that, I struggle to have a thing that I'm trying to get out of LinkedIn. On Twitter, I've had success with it because I've been able to tailor it towards the business stuff that I'm doing, which is health related. So I'm able to be like in the health niche. But in general, I feel like I've struggled to kind of plant my foot in the ground with
I like to think about it in circles. Like, all your interests and your business need to overlap to build that powerful personal brand.
Yep.
Just like writing and then the podcast and the health aspect, then you're also building a business. So in one point, you need to be talking about building a business overall to get like that top of funnel traffic, because everybody on LinkedIn is either building a business or working in a business. So that's interesting for them. Then the next thing is your storytelling. Like we talked about, storytelling is super important because people want to connect with people. So the more you talk about how you're building your business, why you got into podcasting, how interviewing Danko was cool for you, or something, like talk about your guests and like storytell what you learned. That's cool, using photos. And then talking about the health aspects, maybe you can educate people on like how to do either podcasting or like health stuff. And then once you get that, you'll be able to test it out for like 3 months. Okay, which one's working? Are the stories hitting harder? Is the building in public, like building my business, working, or is it the podcasting?
Yep. And
stuff?
do you think I should use, because I have a lot of proof of concept through Twitter, or at least I know what has worked on Twitter since I've been writing on there for a decent amount of time now. Should I just go back to see my best posts and
look at your
rewrite
best
them?
posts and think about the audience that's on LinkedIn. They're more corporate, so they may not be super interested.
They're more annoying.
Yeah, they may not be interested on sunning your balls and stuff.
Chill.
And taking all those like things.
Who do you think I am?
I don't know. You like it. Well, all the time. So maybe something a little bit more like higher level.
Yeah,
how
yeah.
to become a high performance person.
Yeah.
Using all these health hacks might
Bang,
be
bang.
interesting.
I like it. Dakota, any advice?
Yeah, I think documenting what you're doing, what you're learning. What would be cool too is you leverage the guests you have on. So say you have Lara Acosta on your podcast, you just break down the top lessons of the podcast, and that way you're leveraging her name.
Yep.
And you're providing actionable advice that's useful to people. And then you say, hey, check out this podcast here to watch the full thing. So you're getting traffic there. And then at the end of your podcast or somewhere in your podcast, you promote your business offer for people. So you have like traffic, and then you have your offer, and then they work.
Yeah, similar like I did it with viral tweet. Like literally the same. And then you at the end, I plugged the podcast and it worked really well.
Bang, bang. Awesome, guys. Well, I appreciate you both taking the time to do this. This was a ton of fun. I appreciate both of you guys.
Thank you.